Hey everybody, welcome to Mazar-e-Sharif. First thing we're going to do here is go to the culture department and sign in, as you have to do to every single province in Afghanistan. Make sure you have the right permits, so then you don't get stopped, you don't get thrown back to this place to get the permits. So that's the first thing we do. Alright, trying to get the car fixed now. This is what these garages look like here. They just have lots of people, lots of mechanics, lots of kids working, changing tires, doing stuff. You can see them down there learning how to work on cars. And you don't have any appointment, same as everywhere else. You just turn up and then a specialist in that area comes, gearboxes, exhaust, whatever it is, has a look at your car and fixes it and charge you a little bit of money and off you go. So right behind me is Mazar-e-Sharif. This is the most holy sort of shrine in this area. A lot of people do pilgrimages to here. It's believed that Muhammad's cousin was buried here. It was built by a guy that really wanted to build this stuff, and a few hundred years ago. But after 100 years of being built, it then Genghis Khan came through and absolutely destroyed the entire area and leveled the whole lot to the ground. So it was then rebuilt. It is now still a very beautiful, beautiful place to be. I'm not too sure if I'm meant to be videoing or not. No one else is, so I'm being a bit quiet, but that's what it looks like behind. And there's a museum over there, which I'm going to go into in a second. Well, one of the things that, if you don't know all of this sort of Persian type of architecture, I'll zoom in on it, but they use the mathematical formulas to create these incredible mosaic structures and patterns that's ubiquitous, I guess, for the Persian Empire. And this is an example of it. This is the same sort of stuff as I saw in Tashkent in Kazakhstan and Samarkand, those sort of areas. If you've been to those places in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, same type of temple, slightly different from what I saw in Iran. More painted stuff there, but even still very, very beautiful, just geometric shapes that they have. White doves. The rumor is that this place only has white pigeons, they call them. So white pigeons here. That's true, it's all I've seen is white pigeons. Apparently if a pigeon comes in here with any color other than white, it turns white. And every pigeon around here is white. So I'm walking through the market just outside the mosque, just there, absolutely beautiful, and it's quite interesting, that little museum in that space with like probably the size of a double garage, a bit higher, and it had a whole lot of antiquities, which is brilliant that they're keeping all that from medieval time, or even beyond that, prehistoric time, if you like, early cavings, cave drawings, and pottery and those things. But also I thought it was interesting that they had a shrine to the suicide bomber. So they had a description of all the stuff that was involved with the bombing, with the motorbike, with the guns, but also how to put the bomb together. I thought that was part of the history of this place. Kind of sums it up. Not really wanting me making too many voices in English while I'm walking through here. Lots of capital T's all around with lots of bang bangs. Behind me is a great example of an Afghan tuk-tuk. It's a Suzuki that they've ripped apart and made into a tuk-tuk versus the Indian, say, Pakistani tuk-tuks. It's just there. It has a steering wheel amongst other things, but can also take a few more people. Never seen it anywhere else in the world. Yeah, just a little example. The other thing, which I can say now, it's a little bit quiet on the street, is I found out yesterday that when you give the thumbs up in Pashtun, it means it's not like hi or can I have a lift. It's actually for the country people. It means, I better be careful. It means come sit on my thing, my member. So while I was out in the country, I was handing out toys to people and the kids were waving and I was giving them, and you know, the men and women were there and I was like giving them all thumbs up saying, hey, well done. And then my Shan was laughing. He said, you know what that means in my language? Anyway. All right, coming back into the mechanics place. Hopefully Shan is here and it's all sorted. Just sort of, I'm very well. Hello.
Hello.
What is your name?
Yes.
Yes. Goodbye. Oh, how's that for timing? That's unbelievable. That is incredible. That is amazing. Hi.
Welcome, sir.
Is it all fixed?
Yeah.
So I just bought another scarf because I gave mine to the Pamir people and my neck is burning. I just thought this is great. Look, boiling hot fat just on the edge. I nearly tripped over that thing as I jumped out of the car. This is a country with no rules. In each place of Afghanistan, I've seen a different type of bread. Here they have this type of bread. It's a thicker type of bread. It's kind of got a it's like a wrap where it's got two bits put together, and it's quite thick and nice for soaking up all the curries. Anyway, it is scorchingly hot. It's probably 40 degrees. Well, this is the ancient walls of Balkh. This is one of the oldest civilizations. It's almost 3,000 years old. It's had Buddhist monks, Zoroastrians, Islamic people all over this place. It was like 3,000 years ago. It's a long time. So these walls were completely leveled. You see them here where the people farm almost directly up to them. One of the oldest cities on earth. It's quite funny. Well, not funny, but it's kind of strange how it's just sort of amalgamated into society of this village, and it's because it's on this old ancient Silk Road that came all the way through here. Everybody wanted a piece of this. Genghis Khan, 1220, he leveled the place apparently, and then it was rebuilt, and then 100 years later Timur came through and he leveled the place as well, but you still can't get rid of these stubborn walls. It's a really old city, and until recently they were just riding motorbikes and cycles along the edge of the middle of the walls there, you can see, because it was the fastest way of getting around town. I've got an armed guard when I've come here in this whole area, because unlike the mountain areas where you get kidnapped, you can pretty much find someone quite quickly relatively, because there are a few trails. Here there are pockets of rebels, I guess, that want now against the Taliban, who used to be on the other side. It's kind of all weird and switched up, but they want to embarrass the government, therefore they take foreigners. So the Taliban now give you people to look after you. So if you get taken here, you can see it's pretty much impossible to find you. You could be smuggled out on any of these myriads of walls. And it comes all the way around here. It goes out like 10 kilometers, and they're 25 meters high. Like a normal house is probably one story is about 4 meters, say 3 to 4 meters. So 25 meters tall. These things are huge, and they're super thick. Like So I had 100 meters thick or something at some points. I think there were about 14-ish, a dozen or so, these massive watchtowers that they had around this entire area to protect it. And yeah, incredible history, part of history of the world. This Balkh, B-A-L-K-H, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, walls, insane. I mean, look, it's just completely integrated into, boom, there it is, integrated into the village life. My girlfriend's coming. This behind me is the mosque right at the very center of this big circular ringed walled city that you can see on the map much more clearly than the photos I took before. But yeah, this wall after wall after wall after wall, and right in the middle it says it's all green. It's kind of an Afghan green at this time of year, which is a greeny deserty piece. They're spectacular again, and great mosaics. And actually this time they've got these intricate column designs. This is unusual. Well, I think it's unusual. I haven't studied Persian or Islamic art, but unusual to have these kind of columns at the side. I haven't seen a lot of that. And here's one which puts that little asterisk above the whole Taliban kind of question mark. So this is Arabia Balti, a female person. I'm not too sure what she's done, but she was buried maybe 100 years ago or something. Conservative Rabbi Balkh Shrine, by the Germans did this, which is great. So here, that's this Balkh Shrine. And a lot of hospitals in Afghanistan are named after her. And she sits right next to this massive mosque. So that was something that my little asterisk above the Taliban, I didn't expect to see a shrine to a female right next to a major mosque. This is Alexander the Great's place. Just about to run out of power. That's not his place. This must be his place. So this has been my favorite spot today. 5 times last night, 4 times this afternoon. That's pretty good. Been banging Lomitals in, but no success. Anyway, still got to try the food. Not feeling nauseous, just on a weight loss program that I didn't expect. Anyway, the best part about it is it's all happened when I've got one of these. I sit down, Lou. Yes! All right, got back dressed, and in between bouts, I saw this little carpet place right next to the mosque this morning. I saw it again when I drove past. So I'm just gonna wander down there through town before it gets dark and see if it's still open. Although I can feel my guts all grumbling away as soon as I move. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention is Lake Chakmachain, which is the lake, I pronounced that completely wrong, but it's a lake that's up in the Wakam corridor that I was fishing. The elder that I met, as those of you who know, I like stories and I've got this thing about dragons and about monsters and about big fish and these things that might have been captured in pockets of deep water as the Himalayas crushed up at the Pamirs and Hindu Kush came off. And I've got this kind of thing as I've been chasing around about monsters of the deep, and you would have certainly seen a few of those. So I asked him, which isn't on the video, I realized that I posted it last night or a couple of days ago, but it is on an audio that I took. I just need to go back and recheck it, which I might put as a podcast, but I wanted to get it here. Basically what he said, when I asked him, are there any stories of monsters, giant fish, dragons, of that lake, huge lake, really high altitude? He said yes. He said his father, they had this story and they knew about it. He said the river, it's a very deep lake, full of trout, full of fish. Not that I caught any, but in some it's absolutely full of fish and trout. And he said during the 80s it would have been when the Russians, I'm just going to stood here before I get into the main street, when the Russians came and sort of occupied that area, very remote area, a little girl, a very remote area. One day in winter it all freezes, the whole lake, but the middle of it doesn't freeze, and they put an enormous bomb, a huge explosion on the lake, and it absolutely just, we heard from everywhere, massive explosion came up, and this massive monster, he said way bigger than a camel, came up and floated to the top. It was so heavy that they have these Comcha, that's not correct, Comcha trucks the Russian used, super strong. You would have seen me use those 6-wheel vehicles, way stronger than a Mercedes-Benz truck, and they had to get 2 of these trucks to haul this monster animal fish. It wasn't really a fish, they said it was like an animal, is what he said, his father said, out of the lake, and it was just enormous. So whether or not they killed the monster in this lake or there are other monsters. He also said that so many, I said, did a lot of trout die with the explosion? He said so many fish died and they all froze under the lake that when the next spring thaw came, the whole area stank of fish for months and months, as all these dead fish that have been frozen after the explosion all started to thaw out. So yeah, so the monster of the lake up north, I would love to go up there with a submarine, a sonar or something to check this thing out, because I was asked him, because just on the other side of the valley, those that followed me last year in Pakistan would have seen that valley where there is a monster that's well recorded in their local folklore, a dragon of a lake, and that's just literally on the other side of the mountain. So anyway, all these dots I'm putting around the world, like stuff in Kamchatka, no, up in Yakutia, in all these sort of areas. I better go before I attract too much attention, but I just wanted to document that and get all these dots on the map, and then see if there's something there. And if anybody's out there got some money and you want to just discover something completely new, it's a prehistoric animal that might be left over from the Ordovician, or even, you know, who knows when, message me and let's go find this stuff. Hey! Oh no, I don't need an ice cream. I think that's what it is. Buddies, hello.
Gosto mesmo.